everyone. Today I'm going to take you through a tactic I've been using with Grasshopper Zurich. So I've been using 4-2-3-1 for this is the fourth season now. First season I started out, I was using a 4-2-4, the tactic I did in the last video. And then because of this young player here, he came back off loan. I wanted to sort of utilize him a little bit more. So switched to a 4-2-3-1. So I've gone through a tactics that's sort of similar to how Bayern Munich play. Well, how they was playing under Hansi Flick. Obviously, they won't be next year. This started out with do replications on Discord. One of the early ones that we did was Bayern Munich. I was kind of like still quite early for me making tactics really. I mean, only sort of about FM19 started sort of messing around with it. FM20 was where I really sort of started getting into the tactics a little bit more. So um, obviously I've improved a little bit since I made the original one, and then the reason I've done that is because of being on that Discord with Busternet, and there are plenty of other people that are part of his community. We sort of all sort of fire off each other. So what I'll do is I'll put the link to when we've done that replication in the description. It's about a 45-minute stream. You can see sort of Busternet goes through the principles of what we sort of decided in the group, or just discussed, and then from there we all kind of made our own version of the tactic, kind of submitted them. He looked through, showed us his version of his tactic, and then people sort of took elements from other people's tactics. So one of the original things I straight away took, he really sort of this roam from position on the front four. So it was a good idea to have this roaming, use a trek, and a complete forward. I mean, last year I think it was a support, but they're dropping back quite deep this year. So, you know, mine was pretty much set up almost. I had a wing back here, and I had these two swap round the other way, which was kind of a mistake on my part. But this one, this here, this can be a centre back or whatever. But what I've done now is I've gone off and I've sort of created this for sort of a lower current ability, because obviously in Switzerland you haven't got the luxury of having sort of complete forwards and treks and all the rest of it. So this is a version that will probably work with most teams, rather than sort of if this version over here, you're probably going to need quite a good team here. So um, so for me, like here, we haven't really got any instructions on anything at the back. Like I said here, I'm using a bit of a safer role here. I mean, this guy probably could do all right now. I've not long had him. I want to get his speed up a little bit, his acceleration up before I switch him to a ball playing defender. Just because if he runs out and loses the ball, he needs that acceleration to be able to recover the ball. So at the moment, we're just keeping him as a central defender. And this guy here, I mean, he could probably do a job as a ball playing defender, but I'm just going to leave it as central defender for now. I mean, this guy, I believe he has got some traits. Yeah, so he tries long range passes anyway. So you've got the traits on these guys. They're still going to do the long range passes. You're just not going to have this risk of them running out the ball, and then obviously they don't have to take more risks that a ball playing defender will have. So you're going to, the likelihood that they're just going to sort of smash the ball forward is going to decrease a little bit, which is kind of what I want here. So that's usually attacking. So yeah, obviously these fullbacks here, these are going to be pushing up quite high. We've just got a fullback on attack, and where we've got the sort of narrow width here, they're going to be coming in around this sort of area as well sometimes, so they won't always be strictly wide. That's one of the things, fullback can be quite affected by how wide you play. So, but then we're using the focus play. So again, that's going to sort of keep him out there a little bit. And it's also going to move the central defenders, the central midfielders out a little bit that way as well. So we're going to get some nice sort of overloads in these wider areas here. So when it comes to central midfielders, again, really simple roles. Again, if you use the playmakers and stuff, it's just going to keep attracting the ball to the middle, which that can be a strategy if you want to use that. I mean, I've got a similar tactic here. I've done a video for which I use a playmaker here, so because I kind of want the ball to be attracted to this player and him sort of feed balls from deep. But this one here, I just want him to sort of hold his position, play simple passes. And again, this guy here, I want him to come up and sort of support the attacks, and chip in with the odd assist. So over here, like I said, I haven't really got treks, but also what I wanted is just there. I didn't want Trek to sort of ease off the tackles a little bit, whereas Bayern do press quite high, and I found sometimes a Trek they can be a little, it depends on the player, and you need to use OIs as well. If you use the opposition instructions, you'll get them. They will press, but not as much as some of the other players. But I haven't got closed down more on him here. I kind of just want him to be here, but sort of move up higher. So he's kind of blocking the passing lanes a little bit rather than sort of really chasing someone down. We've got the counter press in there anyway, so he's going to kind of be doing that. And then with him, we've added some of the sort of trek instructions. We've got the move into channels, the roaming position, dribble more, and then we're getting him to mark tighter. So he's just sort of he sticks to the DM a little bit. I think the specific marking would be a little bit overkill, and he'd be standing a bit too close to the DM most of the time. So if you get that quick counter attack, that quick turnover, and you want to go on a quick little counter, he might be standing too close to sort of a defensive midfielder. He might not be a good passing option. So these guys here, that can be, this can be either side. You can have inverted winger, you can have inside forward over here. I mean, Nabry, most of the videos I watch generally sort of comes down a little bit more and he's a little bit more creative. Whereas Coleman, he's kind of pushing there a little bit. So, but it depends how you interpret it. You might watch it changes game to game. Obviously, over a 34 game season, they don't stick to the same way of playing all the time. So it's just taking a few principles. Um, so yeah, with that then, so yeah, so like I said, they've got the roam for position, close down more, mark tighter. I just want them to sort of keep onto the left back a little bit and close him down, and no, sorry, the right back, and then he'll sort of press the right back as well. So we're pressing up nice and high. So what we're looking to do is really put pressure on them there. That would then they would hoof the ball down, and generally the defenders will pick the ball up there. So this here, the urgency is fine. When you're on attacking mentality, you don't really need to push this up high. All you're going to get is, you're going to get your defenders are going to get moved around quite a lot. We've already got counter press. We've already got a pressing forward, the pressing forward of own position, and we've got two players here closing down more up here. He'll mark this area here, so these will close down. He'll block off passing lanes. He might come up and help sort of block off passing lanes as well. So you've got like quite a nice press anyway. So you don't really need to go too high. We're going to keep the tight mark in there just for just generally set pieces, things like that. It can help with the tight marking. I use our eyes as well. I'm using there's a single striker up front. I'll mark him tight. I'll probably a winger if he looks like he's going to be a threat. Um, yeah, that's about it. And I'd close down the fullbacks as an OI as well. Maybe the centre backs. It all depends really. So I'll sort of change it game to game. So with here, we kind of just want the ball being spread out. I mean, if you just use the direct centre backs, the centre backs can drop back a little bit deeper than I like. They kind of fall into this area. So I like the distributed fullbacks, gives options. Um, one thing I have changed on there, I know, I haven't got this goalkeeper's not too bad now, the one I've got, but he's only just got his passing up a little bit and that really, and he's kicking. And I've only had him. I had another goalkeeper before that. Obviously, if you had Manuel Neuer in goal, you could go, sweeper keeper on attack, and he's got that distribution good enough to sort of just hit long balls out, and he'll make a bit more of a choice of what he wants to do. But for me, I'll just go and take fewer risks because I'm keeping it quite safe in this tactic. And another one you could change as well. You could argue Davies is probably more of a wing back on attack because he pushes up really high. But again, if you had someone with his pace, you could play that because again, he'd probably be able to recover his position. I mean, this guy here, he's all right. He's got 13, and 14 for pace, but some of the wingers can be quite quick sometimes. So I was playing again. I'm playing a bit safer with these two roles. Again, playing a bit safer here. Um, these roles are just for the lower CA, and that's it. And then with the instructions here, we've just got a slightly shorter passing, and the tempo is just slightly higher. Again, in game you can push that up. You can go the other way, go that way. You can go more standard. It works multiple ways really. It doesn't really. There's no sort of strict way. I mean, look in this one here. This is a different tactic, but I'll go standard and lower, and and it works on standard width, and that works fine all the time. So we've got the focus play, like I said earlier. We just want the central midfielders, moving out to support the wing players a little bit, the wingers and the fullbacks a little bit more. We've got this guy moves into channels anyway, so he'll kind of pop over there sometimes, and he'll help. He might help out one side, and he'll generally come over. He'll move into a channel as well. But he'll do that anyway. But it can affect it a little bit more if you've got that focus play. And then we just got them more expressive because we've got all these players roaming. We kind of want them all sort of moving around, sort of creating problems for the defenders to decide on who to mark. And we obviously just got the play out of defence there, so we just build up the ball and the narrow whip. So that's just all about just keeping the possession, bringing these two back slightly, building up slowly, keeping the ball, and just building up the field really. So yeah, it works quite well as you can see. I mean, what season? A few seasons in now. Only 6 games into this season. Having a little bit of a nightmare with goals straight away this year. Conceded 6 already. I mean, last year I only conceded 9 in the whole season. But to be honest, I haven't played this strictly this season. I've been messing around with another tactic as well, another version of a tactic, which I got out of here just to show you this one. But yeah, like last season before, I don't think I didn't lose last year. And then we didn't lose for 2 seasons, didn't we? Yeah, that was that season I was in the first division. This season here, I used this tactic, but the squad wasn't too great just yet. But we won the league there. We drew a lot of games, exceeded 20 goals, scored 69. But then the next season, we managed to improve the squad quite well. We won 34 games out of the 36, 102 goals, 13 conceded. A little bit down last year on the goals. A few problems with one of my strikers. I kind of cashed him in for good money at the end of the year as well because he didn't really have a great season. But yeah, we drew that extra game, less goals, but less goals scored, but less goals conceded. So swings and roundabouts. The goal difference was better the season before, and we had 2 extra points. So we got to keep maybe just trying to build up the squad. I've been trying to get a lot more youth players into the squad over the last season as well. That might have a little bit of a factor. I mean, if you look here, I've got a lot of players in my squad now, like 18, 19. We're bringing through a lot of young players. We've got 17-year-old there, 19-year-olds. These will all get like sort of 10 to 15 appearances a year. It's quite important. I'll give them that game time as well. So sometimes, as long as I'm still winning the league, I might sacrifice the results a little bit just to sort of develop the team, make it stronger. So got a couple of like players from Liechtenstein here, so that's quite cool. I've never had a single player from Liechtenstein on any FM, I don't think so. And I've got 2 in my squad now, so hopefully we can develop them, and that's something a little bit different out there. So hopefully you enjoy the tactic. I put both of them in the folder anyway. Obviously, like I said, you want to play one with a good team, try this out. If you want to, you want to play with a mid-range team that's still not too bad, but you want to have a go, give it a good go. Give this one a go. So this one will probably be a little bit more suited. So yeah, take it easy, guys. I'll try and get a few more videos out. I've been a bit quiet lately, but back to work now. We're not in lockdown anymore, so I haven't got the luxury of sort of sitting around and playing Football Manager as much as I used to.